Once again,
And
we'll
it's a
let the
vibe.
people get on here, get to talking to y'all on this Monday. Start the week off right,
Period.
righteous.
People are probably just coming in from work. But
Yeah. Good evening, friends. Take your seats.
You're gonna bring back my traumas.
Right.
Maybe we can move this like a little bit closer. A little closer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There we go. That looks better.
I meant to announce it this morning that we was going live, but it's cool.
I know. I feel like we can at least put our thoughts on here.
What up? What up? Welcome.
Fading in San Diego. 2025.
2025.
Is that the year you woke up? That's crazy.
For real? Did you just wake up?
Oh, wow.
If so, congratulations.
Literally.
Yo, what's going on, Frankie? That's already with the two E's. E.
We actually came in
Jesus
here
beats.
with a topic in mind today, y'all.
Yo, but you know how we get to cooking.
Right.
11. Bisley, what's going on?
What's up?
What up?
y'all?
Dimple
Alright.
Pop, what's happening? All right, when we get to like a dub, to like 20 or 30, we'll start.
Why can't we just do it now?
Because there's people jumping on, we're going to have to reintroduce our topics. What's up? What's up?
Introduce myself.
From
Hey.
New Hampshire. My
New-
mom was like neighborhood.
Wow.
J Diamond, what's up? What's up?
Hey, y'all. I'm going to just tell them what the topic is at least.
All right.
All right. So, what we really want to talk about today, because something had triggered it for you. What you say the topic.
All right. I was going live on TikTok and somebody had asked, like, how are you so positive? And it was like, huh. Like, I had to sit and think for a second because I don't know, that's just my aura, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But kind
Generally
of,
speaking,
just,
yeah.
but then you have to backtrack on like how I got this way or how we got to this point.
Alright.
Like, all right, well, let me kind of talk about the steps on how to be positive. So, yeah, so we'll talk about that today. You used to go in San Diego, Pimo, August 2023.
But
Change the
she's
name
not.
after. Oh, okay. In January, salute.
Good for you. Oh, checking in from McDonough, Georgia. That's
Right up the
around
way.
the corner.
What's going on, y'all? So, yeah, that's kind of what we're going to talk about. We had a dub, so
Yeah.
we can kind of talk
into
about,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because I feel like you weren't always that way.
No, not
You
at
weren't
all.
always that way.
No, that changed. Well, I guess we can kind of start from scratch. So, the reason Detroit from the Midwest, Motor City. So, we're talking about, for those who's like jumping on right now because it just went to 30. We're talking about how to have a positive attitude, and we didn't realize how negative Jehovah's Witnesses are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, to where everybody, though, even your own brothers and sisters, you kind of look at, like we talk about the hierarchy, and you kind of look like, well, oh, this person ain't been to the meeting this many weeks. Or even when they bring up people who ain't witnesses, it's like, oh, those worldly people. It's just negative. And even if somebody is nice and they not a witness, it's like, yeah, they seem nice, but like you
It's
just
always a but.
Yep, it's just always like negative vibes.
We still get that to this day, especially whenever we say like we're not religious. Immediately, you'll get people who are like, "Oh, you're demonic." Like, okay,
Right.
all right. But if I would have never said that, then you would never know, type thing.
And then if you said you was a Christian, you would be looked at like,
Like,
and it's like it's some
no.
messed up religious people too. So
I think through indoctrination in general, like you just end up. A lot of people nowadays are scared of everything because everything is like a fear-mongering tactic. Even whenever you go onto the news, it's like nothing but bad things that are just being fed into you constantly. You know what I mean? So you have to be like super aware to try to focus on positive things because negative things are all around you all the time.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that out because, like you said, the news, a lot of the media, the shows they put out, depending on music, certain music, even like a lot of the movies we watch, it'd be like doomsday stuff or end of the world, just stuff like that that keep you in a negative mindset. And the food, that's another thing.
Food is low vibration.
Even your toothpaste, like fluoride in toothpaste is not good. Just certain things around you. So I think looking back on being a Jehovah's Witness and waking up out of it, some people are like shell shocked and some people are like, well, let me explore.
Liberated.
Yes, and it just depends. And some people start off one way and then start to open up over time. So you kind of have a negative outlook on what life is. And it's better off, I'll say from my personal experience, was when I seen The Secret. I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but this is 2020, and it talked about manifestation and the power of the mind. And you never learn about that in Jehovah's Witness or most religions. And so all it says in a nutshell, what you think and speak is what you attract, the law of attraction. And if you backtrack to being a Jehovah's Witness, you think back, like I could talk about the time I was Dysfellowship. They tell you if you never been Dysfellowship, they paint the picture in like the videos.
Yes.
Like dude,
everybody's
remember,
all sad.
oh, sad. Remember, dude got some cheeks and was crying. Like just stuff like the way that they paint, like not being a Jehovah's Witness or following those rules. So when you look back, like man, before I even got this fellowship, I'm already like, dang, my car gonna break down, we get fired.
You're subconsciously thinking about it.
Yep, that's how it's programmed. So being this fellowship, you are programmed not to even be happy. So you don't look for happiness. The only happiness is once you get reinstated. So once you kind of leave, you start to realize like, wait a minute, all the stuff they said ain't true. Like bad stuff not happening to me, and you realize bad stuff is happening to people in it. So
bad
it's like,
stuff
wait a
happens
minute.
to everybody. You know what I mean? Because it's the normal polarity of life. Like there's gonna be good and there's gonna be bad, and you have to choose. You know, like what your reaction is going to be towards everything.
Yep, because it's not going to be all good. People normalize happiness.
Yeah.
Like people like to show happiness and take pictures happy and show their accomplishments, but you born with multiple emotions for a reason. And it's like, it's not normal to express that side of it.
Yep.
But you understand the balance of it, like you said, the polarity.
Yep.
Sometimes stuff going to be good, sometimes it's going to be bad.
Yep.
But realize like, all right, I'm just on this part of the swing.
Oh, that's so true.
Yep.
And you know what? It's not like we have not been through things. Not only have we been through things in our religion, but we've both battled like grief and things like that. You know what I mean? And just, it reminds me because I was asked that question, like how didn't something like that ruin our relationship kind of a thing.
Right.
And it's like both of us kind of have this like predisposed mentality, like things are going to happen. You know what I mean? But like, are we going to allow the external things that happen naturally to ruin something good?
Because and nobody's immune to bad stuff. That's the illusion they give you in Jehovah's Witnesses sometimes is, oh, you see what happened to Michael Jackson is because he left Jehovah. Like, no, like, come on, whether he was a witness or not, like, bad stuff happens.
It's the mentality.
Yep.
It's the mentality that happens even whenever people get disfellowshipped. You're on a low vibration because you're thinking like, oh, nobody wants to talk to me. Everybody's shunning me. Bad things are going to happen to me. And that's the things that you're focused on and things that you're thinking about. And that is going to get put out.
Yep. So it's just different ways. Another thing, see what you're talking about for a second. And then we'll pick back up on like the power of now, because that's something. Right.
Oh, happy birthday to Andy's son. Happy birthday, Drew. I hate the way I think and judge others due to JWs. But you know what? It's normal to be a little bit judgmental. That's like a human thing, you know? But you can at least bring awareness to it in the moment of like, okay, I'm being kind of judgmental right now. Like,
and that's the thing. Jehovah's Witnesses, if you tell them they're judgmental, they deny it. So even the fact you could be like, dang, I'm like this sometimes. That's, like you said, that's awareness. That's step one. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. Dealing with the shunning impact is very difficult. It is. It is really difficult. And it's just about trying to build yourself up to try to get through that, because it's not easy, especially if it's your whole family, your whole connection of people. That's hard.
Yeah. But it's something that's a pain that we all share as XJW. So it's not nothing personal towards you. It's the organization got them brainwashed, and this is what we kind of have to go through by leaving. But it's like, would we rather be in it or out of it? Like, would you rather be in it and ignorant or out of it and aware? It's kind of like a damn if I do, damn if I don't.
That's so true.
Yeah.
My mother is in her 70s, was baptized in early 1960s, still preaching away like the end is tomorrow. I know. Yep. That's crazy. It's like that fear mongering.
And they can't realize like the end is not coming. It's been coming forever.
Yes.
For the last 100 years, it was right around the corner in 1914, 1919. What was it, like 1920 or something, like right after that?
Yeah.
Fast forward to 1975, right around the corner. And you realize, like, man, you done turned the corner so many times, man, you should be dizzy by now. It ain't coming.
Yep. And also, what I feel like is there's always ends of like eras that are happening, even to people. Like people stuff will happen and their whole life as they know it is completely over.
We just witnessed that in 2020. Like, remember we was going to Walmart and Target and Kroger at 2 a.m. Like that doesn't exist like it did before. So many things. Even like looking back, remember everybody with a mask on? Like when the last time you seen that? But it's just like stuff changed right before your eyes, and
It's
now
so
everything
quick.
is digital. Remember when Cash App first became a thing? Like, bro, I ain't about to send my money to no app, bro. What you talking about? Now it's the norm. Now it's like Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, all of these things. You got places that don't take cash.
Yep.
You think of having change like coins. Places like, no, we don't take pennies. Like, we in a different day and age now. That quick.
And you have to be adaptable because things are going to change regardless, if you like it or not.
Yep.
My grandma. Peace of mind and low. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Dimple pop. Should we go?
No, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
It's not enough.
That's a fake plant.
Imagine.
We do have a really big one though. It's so nice.
And also, we got the blinds are like not all the way open, and
Right.
it's 6 p.m. too.
It's
Angry
not
Pink
just
Land,
the
what's going
JWs,
on?
it's religion as a whole. Yeah, you're right. I mean, religion is like that. But that's an unpopular opinion to say, all religions are kind of like that. Yeah, I have spoken to many JWs, but half of what they teach is so off. Yeah. God nor Jesus would never shun. God is love. Yeah, that's true.
I had to play the heck out of the master. The mask that was a funny era.
That was crazy.
I kind of laugh. I laugh now, like when I kind of see that,
That was
like
crazy.
in the gym. But teachers on from Iceland. That's crazy. The people from all, because I think how often do I come across content from like far, far away? I think they got like a ban over here on what we could see or something.
With what?
Like how so many people are able to tune in.
I know.
Yeah, from everywhere. But it seemed like a lot of the U.S. stuff like doesn't come across everybody else's content as much as they come across ours. You know what I'm saying?
Like creators from other countries?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. TikTok was a place where it was kind of like for everybody.
Yeah, until, what was that, February happened?
Right.
Yep.
All the years the Jehovah's Witnesses leaders said in their publication, yeah, they're putting out 1878, 1881, 1914, 1925, 1975. You cannot predict the future like that. You know what I mean? As an organization. And then it just makes you look like, what's that word?
Well, I'll say desperate. That's the word I came up with.
Just ruining their reputation because you can't just keep
getting it wrong over. Like, I can see if they tried once or twice and then get it, it was like, we just gonna...
Why even do it at all, though?
Exactly, but the fact that it was back-to-back years and it didn't happen, that should have been like, all right, you know what? Let's just let time go by and everybody forget this happened.
Yeah,
but you keep swinging and missing, like, you know what I'm saying? Cleveland in the building. All right, so back to the topic at hand. I want to say another thing with positivity is understanding what's in your control and what's not in your control. The main thing is other people. The other one, I guess it's three, but this is kind of the same thing. The past, stuff that already happened, and the future, stuff that ain't even happened. Both things are just your imagination. And that's one thing that a lot of people are anxious about is old stuff. And it's like
stuff in the future.
Reliving a situation like, I should have did this, I should have did that. And the reality and this is like not saying the past doesn't matter, but the present moment is what can I do to undo what already happened. Like the reality is like I can't do anything about it. It's done. And in the future, it's just an idea. It's like, what if this happens? What if it doesn't happen?
Yeah.
You can think either way, half full, half empty. And that a lot of people are worried about what if this happened? What if it ain't even got here? The only thing that exists in this world is the present now. That's it. The past and the future is an illusion. Like yesterday is over with.
Yep.
Tomorrow ain't here. We just got now. And then tomorrow, this right now will be something old.
Right.
It won't be something that's the now.
And what's wild is our minds are not the most reliable either. So even our ideas of what may have happened in the past aren't always reliable because it's just our memory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our perception of whatever happened.
You realize that having conversations with somebody like, remember that time when we were at so-and-so
and you remember different parts?
And somebody's like, no, you didn't have on that outfit. And you swear up and down, like, because in your mind it was set. No, I had on my burgundy velour suit.
Yeah.
Like, no, you didn't. Remember? Because we had the matching shoes. And then that quick, oh, dang, my whole imagination of what the past was completely an illusion.
Yeah.
Because you just reminded me something completely different.
Exactly.
But that's just how it is. So
and same thing happens with the future. Like, you're not always, like, the things that you may be nervous about or scared that may happen, most of the time it doesn't even happen. So you were all worked up for no reason.
Yeah, it's not the move. Catch up a little bit. Appreciate y'all.
You, Cedric. What? I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Originally.
You don't believe in Jesus after death, hell, and heaven. But where do you get that idea from?
Heaven and hell is not a fact. It's a belief. That's why it's called beliefs.
Yeah.
R. Kelly believed he can fly, and he believed a lot of other stuff, but he was wrong. So you can't call things facts just because you believe it. That's your beliefs.
Yes, that may be your idea of what God is or what may happen after, we die. But at the end of the day, all of us have different theories on what may happen after death. And that's why there are 4,000 different religions and 45,000 different what's it called, of Christianity.
Different denominations.
Yeah, different denominations of Christianity.
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
That's just your beliefs. And something I always tell people, if nobody ever taught you Jesus or God, how would you discover it?
Yeah.
It wasn't something that you just came up with on your own. Somebody forced you to believe it or told you have to accept this.
Yeah.
And if you were born somewhere else, you'd have been told to accept something else. You would swear up and down the same thing. So
it's part of indoctrination too, like whatever it is that you were growing up to believe, that's what you're going to think is the most accurate.
Yeah.
Somebody had said, I've been sharing with my wife all of the dirty secrets of this org and she refuses to see it. It's normal to be like that.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
You are so brainwashed to believe like this. Think about how many times in one meeting they tell you this is the truth. The truth. That's what it goes by. I even say it till this day. I'll be like, yeah, back when we were in the truth. What?
Yeah, it's that indoctrinating. This is something we always tell people that are waking up. Yo, natural reaction is to show people you love, but you can't. You have to allow them to come across it themselves. Because think of yourself as not, most of us, once we woke up, weren't at the peak of what they call spirituality. Most of us were at a point where we had questions already, or something didn't feel right, or we may have been at a point where we slowed down, and then we were ready to take in information. But somebody who believes wholeheartedly, not questioning nothing, you can't just be like, look at this. Because they natural reaction out of being trained is, if somebody speaks against the governing body or Jehovah, don't listen.
Yeah.
And so it's nothing personal, but that's just kind of how it goes. It's very rare that you can show a Jehovah's Witness the truth about the so-called truth and they feel it.
And also the saying ignorance is bliss is accurate. Like ignorance is bliss, because the more that you know, it's like, for one, it gets confusing, and also it's like, man, you have a different level of awareness now and responsibility almost that you feel like,
Right.
to life in general.
Yep. He said R. Kelly's grounded. Y'all are silly, man. UK, what's going on?
I'm Pimo, and leaving or dissociating feels impossible because I live bang in the middle of the territory. Oh, right in the middle of the territory, and my road is regularly worked. Listen, we have only had how many witnesses have we had come to this house?
Either two or three.
I think only
like
two.
two.
Yeah,
we weren't home. And another thing, you ain't got to open the door or explain yourself.
Look, we even have a sign on the outside of our door, like one of the no soliciting signs. We have one of those, and they still came up to our door.
And you can also, depending on your situation, like if you have a lot of family in it or anything like that, you can leave or stop going to meetings and not explain yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Fading.
Yeah, you can fade out. And if they ask, just, I'll get around to, or whatever answer you want to give them, because we were told we would get in trouble by the elders about Jehovah for not going to the meetings and not being upfront with the brothers and sisters. You ain't got to tell them nothing.
Yep. Somebody asked a question that we used to be Jehovah's Witnesses, but somebody said, and what did people believe before Christianity and Islam? That's an interesting study. It is, and that's one that I went down the road of too, because I always say that I'm an omnist. I believe that, there's truth in all religions, but not any religion is the one and only truth. But the oldest religion documented is Hinduism. And if you actually, it goes like Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, and all of these religions all had ideas of polytheism. So like the belief of multiple gods, right? It wasn't until Judaism that the renditions of Christianity and Islam came about. And that wasn't until the last, I think 1,000 years or something like that. It's the newest, they're the newest ideas.
Yeah, and that came from like the Moors going up to Europe. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. Christianity was adopted first in Africa. Out of all places in Africa, Ethiopia adopted it first. Meaning any other situation you hear adopt, okay, that means I got this from somewhere else. So before then, and that's just Ethiopia, you have the rest of Africa who were not Christians. It wasn't until colonialism that they brought religion with them, and the Pope gave them permission that if anybody is a pagan, meaning they are not Christian, you can enslave them. That's how it swept throughout the world. So before that, what were people doing? Christianity is a new thing.
Christianity is one of the newest, and so is Islam, actually.
Yep.
I know it hurts. I don't know why it hurts people to understand and learn information. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? If that's still what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with it. You can still have a clear path to God. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you want. But why do people feel so triggered by saying Christianity is new? It is. Quite literally is.
But it's more like it's heartfelt because chances are it's a family tradition that's passed down and told, and you couldn't question it. Even if you wanted to stay home and not go to church or go to the hall, you got punished for it. You got in trouble if you didn't sit still and pay attention. Or if the family is praying and you kiki and playing as a kid, you are always disciplined for not taking it serious. So you become that adult but this is the thing, instead of telling kids to take it serious, you tell the other grown folks, you need to take this serious.
Other grown adults.
It is like, no,
That's
adult.
Crazy. If you go back, I just want to say this real quick. For Hinduism, for example, if you look at some of their key concepts, it's dharma, which is duty, karma, which is rebirth, and moksha, which is liberation, okay? Those are their three key concepts. And then you take something like that and you compare it to Christianity, and what are the key concepts of Christianity?
Somebody said
It's
one of my
control.
favorite things.
What?
They said everybody bashes Christianity, never Islam. You know why? No Muslim has ever knocked on my door. Ever. No person has ever said, Allah bless you, out of nowhere. I don't see signs everywhere.
Jesus loves you.
Allah is king. Muslims, they mind their own. And this is another thing. You may say, hey man, you want this BLT? Oh no, I don't eat pork. Done.
It's over.
Christian, on the other hand, I don't eat pork, and you can't eat it either. If you eat pork, you're going to, you see the difference?
Yeah.
Other religions, you would have to ask them, what do you believe? And then they'll talk about it. And you have to keep digging for questions, and they'll talk about their religion. But a lot of Christians are pushy.
Yeah.
And they try to threaten
Not
you.
all, but
and
a
that's why I
lot.
say a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of them are pushy, and if you don't get with the program, they threaten you and try to guilt trip you by telling you God gonna do this, you gonna
You're gonna
burn
go to
there.
hell.
Yeah, so it's like that's why, and the people that speak against it are speaking against a bully type of mentality. They are sick of family members judging them, kicking them out the house, things like that, simply because they don't want to get in line with they believe. So that's why people go in on them more than anybody else.
Facts. Oh, we missed a lot. Come here. Jeff Lindsay, I have come here to offer encouragement. You see who it is.
Yep.
That's true. The Bible in multiple translations doesn't support the theory of a heaven or hell. Interesting.
No. Too many times.
Don't answer the door. I don't believe in the Bible or religion. I'm interested to know what you do believe in. What group were you in? We were Jehovah's Witnesses. They always say the governing body has decided. Right.
Right. Yep, good and bad energy.
Somebody said there is no truth.
It's not. And what exactly is truth? We talked about that.
You should go into Islam.
No, we're not doing no religion. We are cool.
Yeah, but we don't. If other people choose religion, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Yup.
Oh, when you guys were in the JW organization, did you guys have nightmares? I love this question because I find people who were once in the religion had nightmares, especially while they were in. And I was one of those people. I would have nightmares. Still, if I watch something scary, I'll have nightmares at night. But I was recently talking to a current active Jehovah's Witness, and she was saying that she has to sleep with like a nightlight on because...
That's crazy.
Because she gets nightmares.
What? Where's Jehovah's Holy Spirit at when you need it?
And I just couldn't help but think, like, damn, I feel like this was because of the religion.
It is.
That you're getting nightmares, because that's how it was for me.
But no, I didn't really have no nightmares.
Oh, I hear you, but it's my own congregation knocking and always want to pass by. Oh, that does, Miss Pearl, that does suck. But you could if you really want it, you'll find a way.
And you do not have to answer if you don't want to. Especially if that gives you anxiety having to talk to these people. Think of the flip side of how it would feel not talking to them. If that's the case, like if that brings you stress or discomfort having to face these people, you can leave them on the other side of the door.
Somebody said, no, Buddhism does not have any God. Well, actually, for Buddhism, you could be no theism, you could be polytheistic, or you could be monotheistic. You could be any of the three.
You get
So
more
you're not
options.
wrong, but you can be any.
Appreciate it, Devin Jones.
Yeah. I've never heard of Mott. I don't know what that is. I'm about to look it up.
Yep, relocating definitely.
The Torah came before the Bible.
Start suggesting they worship the sun.
I feel like that's why they told us that we couldn't do yoga, because that was some kind of sun worship.
But that's all they did with Christianity is change the S-U-N to S-O-N.
Okay.
The rise of the sun.
Right.
Yep.
Now you're serving a different sun and worshiping a different sun. I want to look up Mott.
Yep, let's see if we're really sad for the false religion of Jehovah's Witnesses. Drove you away from the... No, it didn't.
Drove away from what?
From Jesus.
Oh. Y'all are hilarious.
Right, y'all are silly. All right, but let's see. The priests do fly private jets. They roll. You know what? When we be at the gym, they be having like on Sunday the church, like the mega churches, and I'll just be thinking like from a business aspect, like
it's a good business.
Like, bro, they are making bank off people, and you get to literally get up there and say whatever you want to say, and you already convinced them that God is talking through me to y'all instead of God just talking to y'all. But God is talking through me, and make sure you pay for the message. And they show up every week.
But these are literally just people who use their intuition and have a good way of words, right?
Yeah.
But you're taught inside of religion not to trust your intuition all the time.
Yeah.
That you cannot rely on your own understanding.
Yeah.
Your understanding is flawed. All of those things.
Yeah.
My name's Lexi. His name's Jevin. Hey, Sophia.
What's up? What's up? What's that to say?
I made the mistake to text an elder that I no longer believe in the org, and they DF me without even calling me.
Yep.
Yeah, they do
That's
that.
the magic words they wait for.
I find that people pick on Christians the most. I don't find that to be true. What it is,
Christians pick on people the most. That's literally what it is.
Christianity has swept the entire nation, the whole world, many times through either coercion or force. So you have it's a numbers thing, you know what I mean? And you have a smaller group of people that are like, no, I don't care to be Christian. And many Christians will be like, oh, Jesus is the only way. You're going to hell. Demonism.
Yeah. So, and no, what other group is going around telling people that they need to join a religion or face consequences? Like, that's not a known thing besides for Christianity. Not to mention, most people come from Christian families and got to see a lot of the hypocrisy in it. So
Yep.
that's what it is.
Raquel said the people with the signs on the corner yelling and with huge signs about you need to be saved and how much of a sinner you are is such an irritating thing to me. Literally.
What happened to free will? Why do you have to go and threaten and yell at people that have free will?
Exactly.
And especially if a God wants everybody to serve him, why don't people just naturally do it?
Yep. And at the end of the day, those same people that are holding the signs are just as much sinners as other people are, right?
Yep.
But it's that holier than thou aspect that irritates me personally, because people will act like, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do this, I don't do that. Okay.
Full of theyself.
Yes.
Yep.
There are things that you do. Stop trying to act like you are so perfect when nobody is. And because I'm sitting here with a nose piercing and tattoos, I'm a sinner.
There is no such thing as a special selected group on earth that gets special privileges that everybody else don't get because a God selected them. Nobody. And you can't point out any benefits that you can see firsthand that you get by joining this group at all. All
Them
you can
versus
do,
people who don't.
all you can say is, I'm gonna get it when I'm dead. All they can just point to things that aren't here or after this life, even though none of us have been there. I'm gonna tell you that's where mine gonna be at. No, that's the whole thing with colonialism. They got they heaven on earth, and you got to get yours once you dead and gone.
And I feel like that circles back to how you can have positive outlooks on things, because you're taught in most organizations that you have to follow these rules in order to, you know, have a good life or whatever. What we tend to follow is like universal laws because they make sense. They're based off of energy. They're based off of what you're putting out. They're based off of those kinds of things. And you could see legitimate
Evidence of it.
Yes, legitimate evidence of it, not just.
And that's where a lot of things like you reap what you sow in the Bible. God didn't tell some dude to write that, and that's when it came from. That was something that already existed as universal law long before they made this book.
And now you're
rewrote
just
it a
changing
million
the
times.
words. That's so true.
That's all it is. That's literally what you put out in life comes back to you. That's how it goes.
I feel like we should make that another video about the different universal laws because they're so good. Both are racist in origin, Islam and Christianity. Islam 1,000 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Christianity is very new. And we'll do some final thoughts too before we wrap this up if y'all got some.
I'm not sure what a name would be for it. I believe in our innate ability to know right intuition. I believe in the universe and a creator. I don't think that necessarily has a name, Raquel. It's just you're a spiritual person, it sounds like. But if you haven't looked into it already, which I'm sure you have, look into different universal laws because they make so much sense.
Yeah, because like we always tell people, you didn't have to read a book to know, like, dang, I shouldn't hit an old lady upside the head and take her purse. I'm glad I read this book. Like, that's just something, if you've seen that happen whether you are adult or a child, you will feel, dang, that's not right.
Yes, as
It's
a human,
in you. Yeah,
you
didn't.
naturally
A book
wanna
didn't have to
intervene.
teach you that.
Yes,
Yep.
that's so true.
And if a
James.
book has to teach you to be a nice person, that's a you problem.
Mm-hmm. Steve Drabick said, "Hey y'all, I referenced to a previous topic you were talking about. The past is history, future is a mystery, and present's a gift." That's so true.
Most definitely.
Somebody said being born into the JWs ruined all religion for me. I would never again. We feel the same.
A lot of people. And we explained that too. It's just you realize everything else was kind of bogus and this is supposed to be the truth. But then you realize, wait a minute, this ain't the truth. And you learn not to get bamboozled. So you do extra research on everything you come across and you see the similarities that something ain't right.
Yep.
Miss Janine, what's going on?
What is up, my girl? Damien said, no. Hilarious. Henry said, "Hi guys, today's my day off from work." Thanks for joining us on your day off, because you did not have to. Oh yeah, my sister called me years ago saying she woke up and had a nightmare at the end of the system came. So she went back to the organization not long after, fear mongering. My mom had the same kind of a nightmare. It is so instilled into your subconscious that that's what happens. When she was disfellowshipped, what ended up bringing her back is that she had a nightmare that there was 2 boats in the ocean, like the world was ending, you know, it was chaos, everything like they depict it, right? And there was 2 boats. There was one with all the Jehovah's Witnesses from our congregation, and then there was her on a different boat, and she was handing me and my sister over to the boat of like, we'll be saved kind of thing. And she was on the boat by herself. I think it was just her and my uncle. And that's literally what triggered her to go back to the Kingdom Hall.
That's sad.
It is. I'm gonna look up the Mat. That's interesting. I looked it up a little bit about like Egyptian religion. Very interesting. Left a year ago. Good for you.
PA.
Just June. Hi there, guys. You two are adorable. I'm from Pittsburgh too. Ah, cool. Hometown. Freedom and peace from fear to
Life of intent. What's going on?
what's up? Very cool. We don't have a denomination.
No, we believe in freedom.
Right.
That's when people ask me, what's your belief stand? Free? I mean, whatever.
Right. Oh, what the haters. Hinduism is brilliant. Observe the universe and everything, and then make your own. Yeah. Yep. Buddhism teaches the same thing.
Yeah, versus just forces somebody that you got to do this. Everybody is different.
It more so teaches you to go within rather than to seek without, and I love that.
Yep.
The elders' updated Shepherd the Flock of God book allows them to dissociate at their own discretion.
I want to look into that.
Like they can dissociate other people.
Or if you're allowed to just leave without getting the Dysfellowship treatment.
Yeah, we could read it out loud. As a single mom, it was oppressing. I had to work a full-time job and try to make it to the meetings. God forbid you have any fun, free time. And we were treated as less than. It was very pretentious, yeah?
Yup. That's crazy to have to work, be a parent, and still be up at these meetings. Talking about it's encouraging. It's draining.
That's draining. It was draining even for if you have a normal life, you know, let alone having to like work on top of it. You know what I mean? Like that, all of that is draining. I mean, that is a normal life, but that is draining.
We are created equal. Facts. I like this one. Never trust anyone that uses fear to influence others. Much love.
Facts.
I'm telling you, that's very Suge Knight-ish. Like I call that the Suge Knight death row tactic. Trying to bully people into accepting. It should be something loving that somebody sees like, man, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Like, and this is one of my favorite questions. And Christians ain't got not all Christians, but a lot of them don't have the kahunas to admit this. If you were not going to go to hell or be punished for not being a Christian, would you still do it? That's what keep people in it. That's what keep people coming to church and paying money.
Know that.
Because they know, all right, And they'll say things like, well, I'd rather be safe. Safe from what? That's called fear.
Yeah.
I don't fear. I only fear God. Fear.
That's,
You fear.
still
You
fear.
have. It shouldn't be no fear involved.
Yeah. It should be like if you believe in love, that's different to me because I think that there's some real genuine people in all of these religions. I've met them, you know what I mean? And they move, you could tell by the way that their spirit is and the way that they move. They move with love. They move from a place of like, you know, they're being genuine and like mean well.
Right.
But everybody is not that way. They put on this mask and act like they're one way, but in reality, they're totally different.
Yep.
Scripture states to not pierce or mark your body. Okay, it also says not to wear fabrics, different kind of fabrics at one time. So you can't wear cotton and polyester. But guess what? You do it, right?
And do you sacrifice animals? Because they definitely taught that in the Bible. Oh, but that's where you pick and choose what to follow in the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And that was also in the Old Testament, which most Christians say they don't follow the Old Testament anymore.
Yep.
So make it make sense.
A lot of them don't follow the new one nor the old one.
Right.
Follow the law. No, the law of Jesus isn't real.
The law of what are the laws of Jesus? Explain. Because if you track it back, you'll see that it ends up going with the universal laws.
But in order for somebody to say something like that, that means they haven't done any research on history.
Right.
Because the moment you research history, everything else falls apart and you go, wait a minute, this is new.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on nose rings? What do they symbolize? It depends on where it comes from. So in certain parts of the world, it actually did symbolize something. In different tribes in Africa and things like that, they would gauge their nose, and it was usually just a marking of, okay, they belong to this tribe. Same thing of them using to those rings that they would put on their neck. Yeah, they all had different markings because that's how you would identify each other. Like, okay, this is my people. And
then you also had ones who would make engravings or tattoos on their face to make themselves unattractive, to make them less likely part of the slave trade.
Oh, that's
There's
good.
different. This is what happens when you go into history. You start to connect dots on stuff.
There's different meanings to many things, but I get it because I like it aesthetically. Okay.
Yeah. All right, a few more. We about to wrap this thing up.
I was about to say something to that. The men who wrote the Bible had the Holy Spirit with them and listened to God when writing the Bible.
Prove
it.
Okay,
even if that is the truth, it was still written by men. What is the difference of other people who write books that are influenced by God?
Dr. Seuss could say the same thing with his books, and that's the thing. You cannot prove that. There's no proof that the person who wrote this book was inspired just because somebody told you got to believe they were inspired. There's no proof. Appreciate it, Rebecca.
Every religion promises a reward after you're dead, but in the meantime, you're expected to serve them. Right? Like,
why they get rich?
That doesn't make any sense. Why not try to create this life that you have as your own heaven?
Yeah. Why do you get your results after?
Yeah.
After, and it's like you don't even know what happens when you die. Somebody else that also hasn't died is alive right here with you, telling you what's gonna happen. I ain't never been to Florida, and I don't know nobody that been to Florida, and nobody from Florida ever came to see us. But we gonna talk about what's gonna happen in Florida.
Right.
We ain't never met a person who been there. That's the illusion of the heaven and hell thing. Yep.
And that's why one of my favorite laws of the universe is law of divine oneness. It means everything and everyone is connected at the energetic level. Every thought, action, and choice affects the whole. And that's why I'm loving this age of people, because I feel like people are beginning to become more educated about their own history and about what life really is. And Christians will say, oh, this is becoming the end of time. You know, it's the end of the world because nobody has God. But it's not true. It's the oneness of people.
Yep. Your conscience that will lead you to know what's right from wrong. True.
Where are you at?
Right there.
Is this just simply an appeal to intuition? If someone has the intuition that stealing is the correct thing to do, does that mean they are justified in sometimes that is justified in universal law, and that's why universal law makes so much sense. Because if you are looking at okay, say somebody wants to steal, they're stealing, an apple to feed their family or something like that, they're stealing something like that, then it is still considered in the universal law, because it's not like a petty theft.
Right.
It's a theft for survival.
All right, y'all. We about to make a bet. Somebody said before the end of this week, Saturday, one of you will experience Jesus in the afterlife. All right, so today is Monday, and Sunday we will get on here and
say hello.
Yeah, say hello, because it's not. Jesus been supposed to come. He was supposed to come to stop slavery, but they had to fight their way out of that and lose a lot of people. So, there goes that.
Lady Ely. We always post our lives after we do them, so don't worry, you're not missing out.
This is gonna go right up when we get done.
What's up, Blue Flame? I was gonna see the people drowning in the flood. I could not let them on the boat. It's like everybody has the same dream. It's always like a flood, like Noah's Ark.
Oh, that's the bird in the back. The dog is upstairs because he be trying to jump on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Okay. Morality being good depends on their morals. Moral laws and moral laws require... Oh,
all right,
we're
there
back.
we go.
What up, though, from Detroit XJW? Tattoo shop owner artist. What is
That's
up?
what's up.
After leaving the organization for 40 years, I've realized everyone needs to find what works for them. Yes.
Yep.
And judgment is not anything I want to be a part of any longer. So
Do
be yourself
you.
and be... Period.
Yep.
I agree with that. The only time I have a problem is if you're trying to put all of your judgments and things you are doing on your life onto me. That's when
it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Do what works for you.
I agree. Thank you, Kimmy. I just recently got my eyelashes done. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Only 144,000 will experience Jesus. You're hilarious. Okay. I have 6 tattoos in the last 6 years leaving the organization. Good for you. I have 5.
Get them.
I have 5 in the last 5 years of tattoos. So many to catch up with. Just scroll to the bottom. There we go.
All right. Well, hopefully we can uplift y'all with some positivity.
Just a little.
Along with a little conversation. We're going to post this too for those who didn't get to see it in time. But enjoy y'all's Monday. Like, comment, and subscribe. And shoot, we will catch y'all on the next live.
Oh, hold on. Aaliyah said she loves my nails. Listen, these are from Shein. I got them for like $6. You need to go get them.
And tap in.
They're so cute for real. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, that's it, y'all.
All right, peace.